Dictionary defines an intersection as the place where two streets cross. It sounds innocent enough, looks innocent enough. But take heed, my friends. According to the National Safety Council, 1/3 of all traffic accidents happen at intersections. Sure, when Webster wrote his dictionary, traffic was no big thing. Yet the first two-car accident is said to have happened in Kansas City in 1900. The punchline? There were only two cars in Kansas City at the time. In other words, Webster didn't tell it like it is. An intersection isn't just a place where two streets meet. Too often, it's a place where two vehicles meet, namely you and the other guy. You get the message. Those intersections are bad news. In city and suburban driving, there can be as many as 8 or more intersections every mile. Some have traffic signals or stop signs, but many are unmarked. At an unmarked intersection, the rule book says, yield to the driver on your right. No problem for a pro like you, but watch out for the other guy when you're on his right. He may not have read the rule book. Even at a marked intersection, though, you'll find all the necessary ingredients for an accident. Never, but never rely on a traffic signal. Always be ready to yield when the other guy doesn't. You can almost bet on meeting some dingling who'll cruise through on a yellow light, or even run a red light. Here are a couple of other nifty ingredients for an accident: the yield sign and the two-way stop sign. They're a good idea, but too many people just don't believe in signs. Like the guy who slows up a little, gives a quick look, then fires out. Don't sweat it. If some yo-yo is in a hurry, let him pass. It's no skin off your nose and no paint off your fender. What happens at the four-way stop if there's a tie, when you and another vehicle stop at about the same time? Nobody wins a tie ball game, and sudden death playoffs are strictly outlawed in this league. There's no legal rule here except the rule of common sense and courtesy. The first to stop should be the first to proceed, if it's safe to do so, and the others should take their proper turns. But what if the other driver is a me-first guy? He'll arrive at the collision point first just because you have farther to go. If you're smart, you'll break the tie by playing a waiting game. In actual practice, you'll find yourself obeying the general yield to the driver on the right rule. What's the safest way to approach an intersection? Always look to your left first, then to your right. Traffic on your left is closer to you, which means you'll get hit from that side first. On one-way streets, check the direction from which the traffic is coming. If there's a green light, keep moving at the legal speed limit, but maintain a safe following distance. Make sure you and the traffic behind you can stop safely if the light changes to yellow. Never speed up to beat a light. You might have to stop suddenly. That's really asking for a rear-end collision. Is that guy behind you a tailgater? If he is, your best defense is to slow down gradually, especially at intersections. That way, you'll increase your own following distance so you can make a gradual stop. And by forcing the tailgater to slow down, you make it easier for him to stop when you do. You may have the best eyesight in the world, but when approaching an intersection, beware of blind spots, buildings, trees, parked cars, or what have you. Construction areas have blind spots that you must beware of. Rural areas have blind spots too, when crops stand high, for example. Is there a safe way to turn at intersections? You bet there is. First, start your turn by signaling about a half a block away. Then ease over into your turning lane. If it's a right turn, Watch out for small cars, motorcycles, and bikes that may try to sneak past on your right. If it's a left turn, be sure to keep your wheels straight. If you don't, a bump from behind can launch you right into oncoming traffic. One of the worst hazards at an intersection is the poor, defenseless pedestrian. It shouldn't be hard to sympathize with the folks on foot, for let's face it, all of us take a walk once in a while. Sympathy begins by not invading their turf, not stopping in a crosswalk and forcing pedestrians into the stream of traffic. When making a turn, always yield to pedestrians, giving them the right of way. Remember, many are too young, too old, or handicapped to play chicken with you and your vehicle. Making a left turn is particularly dangerous for the pedestrian. Why? You're watching oncoming traffic, waiting for an opening to make your turn. Then, suddenly, the opening comes and you go. Zap! Intersections come in many shapes and sizes, like the instant intersection, created on the spur of the moment by the driveway, the alley, the shopping center, the drive-in, the railroad crossing. This is still another breed of intersection. They can be hairy, for even if a train sees you, it usually can't stop in time. And once the train has passed, you better believe that old saying, stop, look, and listen. A second train may be hidden behind the first. How about those freeways, expressways, or interstates you travel? Any intersections there? If you don't think so, reconsider those entrance and exit ramps, especially since trucks are usually required to run in the right-hand lane. Some entrance ramps have merging lanes, while others require the entering driver to yield. Either way, the situation calls for extreme caution. If a driver wants to merge ahead of you, slow down and let him. Don't try to bluff him out. That's a dangerous game on a high-speed road. When leaving a freeway or expressway, signal well in advance. Get into your exit lane, slow down, and enter the exit ramp at the posted speed. Better make it even slower if weather or road conditions are abnormal. How about it? Have you learned more about intersections than you cared to? Good. Of course, a lot of it you knew already. But when it comes to safety, the real pro welcomes a refresher course. In fact, that's what makes him a pro. As for those intersections, well, the important thing to remember is that they account for 1/3 of all our traffic accidents. If you remember that, you'll remember how to deal with them.